Nice. Okay, so, all right. So we know everyone knows you're kind of like the weight training teacher around here, history teacher as well. And right now I'm just gonna ask you questions about your weight training, your programs, you being a history teacher, and also I know you do some stretching. So just maybe some you do yoga, right?
Yeah, I do
a
some
little bit.
yoga. Not too many classes,
Yeah.
but I use a lot of the stretch components.
Okay, nice. So I'm just gonna ask you some of those questions, right? So how did you get into weight training seriously, and when?
I got into weight training. Actually, it was great. I decided kind of just on a whim to take a weight training class in college. So I think it was my freshman year of college, and I took a weight training class just to kind of learn some of the moves better than I had in high school when I was in sports. But no one really trained us too much. They just told us to use the weights, and so yeah, I got PE credit for taking a weightlifting class, and kind of that was my first exposure to good coaching and programming, and that's when I started, and then I've kind of been mostly doing some form of weight training ever since. So that's been 20 years.
Nice. Do you think that exercise is essential for keeping a healthy state of mind?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would call myself more of a pretty heady person. My interests when I was younger, and still a lot of reading, writing, a lot of being in my head a lot, and so I've learned for myself that being actually in my body more is makes me feel just a lot happier, to feel really in my body and move a lot in different ways, whether it's weights or stretching or playing basketball or climbing, rock climbing, or run around the woods, whatever it is. I love to be active.
Nice. When you were young, did you think you would be into what you are right now, like weight training and all that?
I had no real inkling of it. I love to play sports. I always played like a lot of traditional sports when I was growing up, played on all the different teams, and went to a huge public high school, so it was hard for me to make the varsity squads pretty much in any sport. I kind of tried all of them, but so I didn't, outside of that interest in sports, I didn't have any idea that I'd be lifting or certainly doing yoga, or I only started rock climbing about a year and a half ago. So all that stuff, did some parkour classes. I would have never guessed that I would be doing that stuff now, especially into my 40s.
Yeah, nice. What do you enjoy about weight training and exercises in general?
Wow. So specifically in terms of weight training, there's something incredibly satisfying about picking up something heavy and moving it and feeling that push against some object that feels like it's trying to kind of take you down, and being able to overcome that resistance is really, to me, very empowering. So I love that about weight training. And then about just general movement activity, just kind of recognizing how much the body can do, both in terms of strength, in terms of range of motion. And so, still, again, being kind of moving into middle age and learning things about my body and what my body can do that I didn't know it could do when I was a teenager or in my 20s, and I'm still learning new things. And so I love that. It's really stimulating for me.
Nice. What are your favorite sets of workouts that you've done so far?
I like the big lifts. I like the big lifts, like the deadlift and the squat, and basically the power lifts. The Olympic lifts are interesting for me too, but being kind of a longer person, those are hard for me to execute with technical proficiency. But I like having my full body have to work as a coordinated unit to move a lot of weight is awesome.
Yeah, I remember you saying during the summer, it's just kind of, there's something that feels good about just lifting a heavy piece of equipment, just something primal, some primal instinct, like you said, I think.
Yeah.
Summer. Yeah.
No, I definitely feel that way, and I like all of the lifts that kind of require the whole body to work together, and not isolation lifts so much.
Nice. What's your motivation when working out?
Wow. I think at this point in my life, working out is more about trying to maintain a good base level of strength and physical competency versus make massive gains at this point. And my whole goal behind the lifting, the stretching, and also some of the cardio conditioning that I do, my whole goal is that I just want to be moving well and a lot for my whole life. So I kind of, for me, to think about getting older and slowing down and not being able to do very much physically. Like, I don't know how long I want to keep living after I start losing those capacities. So I really, the motivation for me is that I want to continue to play hard and go hard for as long as I can. And so trying to maintain all of that.
Nice. Do you enjoy teaching other people about weight training and just working out in general? You know, teaching your knowledge to the younger ones? Yeah,
I think teaching other people, showing other people the lifts and helping people get stronger is something I've always enjoyed. I co-owned a gym for 8 years and, you know, trained hundreds and hundreds of people more in their probably 40s and 50s, and always enjoyed seeing people surprise themselves at how strong they could be. And then for me, working in a school where I'm often in class and grading papers and doing academic stuff, I love working with students in a non-academic setting, completely kind of changing the environment and challenging each other and learning from each other in that way, which is great. And just, I think everyone should be strong and empowered and confident, and I feel like the weight room and physical activity are ways that people have access to that.
Nice. How did you get into stretching and yoga related exercises, I believe?
I think after I lift, I was an instructor in Russian kettlebell training, and there was a lot of great benefit to doing that. It was a lot of tension-based work, though. And so, I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, mid-30s, I was really strong. I was also incredibly tight, and started developing, I think, some overuse injuries, and also some injuries that were because I was really focusing on strength aspects and not mobility or flexibility aspects. And so I've been stretching, you know, with great consistency for about 3.5, 4 years, and love to sort of all the tension that I build up while I'm lifting, I love to relieve that tension by then loosening up and stretching, and I feel like it's a great, it's the other side of the coin for me.
Nice. Do you think that